today literally is covering a lot about what the excitement is about AI. There's a lot of hype in the media. What is actually true? What is pretty much not so accurate? And I wanted to kind of explain the natural journey of AI through this presentation in collaboration with STFC and the Hartree Centre. We'll be presenting some quite clear use cases implemented into industry, which has changed innovation through various sectors. So as a first slide, some of you actually may have seen this slide. Artificial intelligence, as you know, has been around for a very long time, since the 50s. Now that has changed over time. There's been iteration and change, and the initial artificial intelligence concept, which a lot of people are aware of, is machine learning. Now, machine learning is the ability for a computer to be programmed to do a task, whether it be A to B, but this learns, and it learns iteratively, but it's programmed to do a specific task. Now, more recently, developments not only in compute, but as John mentioned earlier, data, large exponential data, has assisted in what we now know as another AI technique called deep learning. Now, the difference with deep learning is it's the ability to learn similar to that of a human, the ability to be able to program a neural net which actually makes decisions based upon the data it's fed, and obviously the algorithms which pretty much enable that decision making to be possible. So what are we seeing in current day? In the current climate, we're actually in a situation where companies are focused on speed, efficiency, and competitive edge. And we know that, and that's now even more important because companies need to use that now for automation and innovation. Now, we've seen over the last 3+ years, a lot of companies now start to adopt AI, but we're now seeing a lot of companies leveraging AI for exponential growth, whether it be strategic advantage straight through to cost cutting and efficiency. So we're going to run through a few industries now, which make it more apparent as to use cases of AI and where they're actually applied. So as you can see from this slide, there's multiple industry sectors here, which a lot of people in the public domain are involved with. But we can see that there's applications in the media which we've actually been aware of. So again, the key one which will be at the forefront of press releases is medical imaging, more so now drug discovery, straight through genomics. John touched on, obviously, advanced networks. We can see that there are elements there, decision making at the edge, 5G, and previously Rob touched on elements of, let's say, how artificial intelligence can actually help businesses, and again with AR straight to VR, and again right now in retail we're seeing predictive maintenance, analytics, and data decision making, which is actually changing the way we actually work and live. So if we can see how this are actually affecting elements of business, this clearly kind of defines a simple graph to explain service, but also reductions in elements of cost and efficiencies throughout industry. Now, what I wanted to touch on is how actually is this being implemented in real life. So we're all familiar with Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola pretty much established vending machines, and they ran this pilot. So they ran a pilot where they're able to put vending machines in different locations, whether it be a gym, whether it be a hospital, straight through to a shopping mall. Now, from there, you'd get a varied set of results based upon customer interaction and behavior. Now, by doing so, they were able to understand data driven by the specific socioeconomic groups at that behavioral time and position. So they were able to kind of formulate who was buying, what were they buying, where were they buying, and from that data, insightful data, they're able to start feeding that through to new products, new decision making, new marketing campaigns, and being able to draw further insight as to how they develop and draw products into the new future of their development and roadmap strategy. So again, quite innovative, but again, it's all driven from AI. Another example, again, very, very well talked about within industry. Again, we can see cancer images here on the screen. Now, clinicians can actually use AI based upon previous data sets to work out whether images are negative, whether images are positive, but be able to do this real time within seconds, as opposed to waiting multiple instances of radiologists viewing various images, or images being delved into further, given the thousands of subsets which could actually identify elements of cancer or not cancer. But again, this is all developed and trained on AI-assisted compute with large data sets to assist clinicians' decision making. So currently right now, and those that follow sport more recently over the weekend, you know, some phenomenal records have been broken. And again, effective decision making can help win races, whether that's trackside or assisted with R&D facilities. Engineers can make decisions based upon data through track sessions, through qualifying sessions, and be able to give real-time instances to actual drivers on the race. And by doing that, obviously, kind of to try and win the race, if not get further ahead during that specific race, based upon whether it's geographical data, weather data, heat data, tire degradation, the ability to pit, the ability to start looking at abnormalities during the actual conditions. All this data is fed into large-scale compute, whether that be analytics at the trackside through to performance and scale through storage, but the ability to kind of work with high-performance athletes straight through to drivers and start making decisions. Now, this could be used not only obviously during weekend races, but more specifically manufacturing, in IoT, in servicing, whereby predictive maintenance, anomaly detection, straight through to the ability to understand where health and safety and maintenance can come in, just to help assist assets through various number of sites in different locations. So again, there's a lot of applications here which are cross-industry, which can help aid, scale, and support businesses through in efficiency and speed. An example that's really close, and again, this is public domain information, and this is actually happening now, it's real life. There was a company based out of Germany who have actually developed electric flying jets. And there's various instances of, and we know the likes of Boeing straight through to Airbus are actually setting up their own innovations as well. But again, a company which pretty much has set this up in Germany, which uses a large volume of data, analytics, and compute to be able to understand the statistics which pull through from all the maneuvers and all the information that they're working with, to then work with avionics engineers straight through to pilots and understand exactly how they can improve their efficiencies through these different types of innovations. Again, very, very innovative company. So again, this opportunity is not necessarily in business, and it ties back into Professor Rob talking about how education has collaborated to really help bring this together, not only for opportunities within the North, but again, across the UK, Europe, and worldwide. Governments are actually funding right now grants which are available, whether it's pathology, radiology, just straight through to transformation into industry. We're also seeing this whereby education is actually being funded, an element which I'll cover later during this presentation. So, you know, we do have a great number of use cases. We see the applications across board actually changing the face of how we work and live. But there is apparent that there is a number of challenges within AI. The clear one which stands out is obviously value. So organizations need to understand exactly the value of artificial intelligence, how that exactly is going to be an incentive, not only in terms of cost and efficiency, but how will that be actually adopted into businesses, and that change managed, again, with the risk there. Now, what we do know, and as John mentioned right at the beginning, security is absolutely paramount, whether it's medical imaging data straight through to use cases in water or energy utilities. There's a lot of public domain information, patient data, which needs to be held in privacy-preserving settings. Now, the data, which we all talk about and has been mentioned several times, is actually as good as it actually is curated, managed, and as that is, again, the data is imperative. It needs to be reliable, it needs to be complete, and it needs to be unbiased, but be able to reflect the actual results based upon that. Now, as you know, there's been quite a lot of hype in the news on obviously AI, how that will impact regulation, policy, straight through to huge interest on ethics. And again, a lot of policy and regulation will catch up. There is a lot of government bodies working in the background to establish these standards, and we'll see more of that as the industry and the market naturally moves. Now, what is more apparent is AI is not as such a commoditized product as yet. We will see, let's say, for example, programming language like Python be used in AI-based applications. But again, you can say this is the decade of the data scientist. There will be a lot of work in that space, and that will naturally mean that there'll be various number of skills gaps. But again, engineers will upskill with machine learning techniques. We'll see similar with existing solution architects, but also business intelligence developers who naturally align to data warehousing, understand how to slice and dice data, but be able to apply these in AI-based settings will become absolute paramount, if not essential, moving forward. So again, we hear a lot more about, is AI good? Is AI bad? Again, it's an argument which could be actually argued for or against. But what is absolutely paramount, if not key, is that AI is here. The revolution is going to change the way we actually work and live. And really just to kind of understand that as businesses naturally evolve, especially so now, developing roadmap strategies which tie into existing customer data strategies will come hand in hand in delivering artificial intelligence into industry. Now, one of the things I'd like to highlight here is, and again, the next talk is aligned with Atos. We are a strategic partner to STFC, the Hartree Centre. We have currently deployed the largest AI supercomputer in the UK currently. We worked in collaboration with the University of Oxford, who actually lead this consortium. I'm working very closely with the team and 22 universities UK-wide, along with the Alin Institute to help innovation and new technology to be collaboratively understood and applied in various aspects. So, for example, if a university has a researcher who actually is well versed in machine learning techniques for oceanography, then how do we collaborate that? How do we understand it? How do we share that across the actual consortium and user group? What is the best practices from a business and technical track? And how do we reapply that to other researchers across UK? So again, a phenomenal opportunity to collaborate on this project, and we'll continue to do so as industry moves. And so finally, just touching back on education. So again, there will be a lot more courses which will be held in and around and across Manchester, not only with the landing, but various institutions and organizations to help customers understand the actual value of AI, whether that be to a C-level audience through a business track, just demystifying artificial intelligence and the hype the media has, but also understanding exactly the technical implications to CTOs straight through to data science teams of how they can actually apply that. Now, there's various courses which we'll see on the next slide, which are available. Now, these could be based upon industry, whether it's healthcare, industrial, straight through to predictive maintenance, but also specific fundamental courses, which are available from natural language processing, multi-data, multi-GPU, with certification. So again, subject matter competency to help upscale current staff in their own setting to add value to organizations. Now, tomorrow and over the days with AI Tech North, we will have NVIDIA speak. A very close colleague and strategic partner, Ross Ferrell, will be talking about inference and AI at the edge, and also NVIDIA's Jetson Nano product. So again, a talk to watch out for. So just to summarize, and before we move on to the partnership with STFC. Atos has its own centres of excellence. We have expertise and specialists available to help, whether that be within life sciences, biotech firms, pharma, straight through to climate. So we work very closely with the Met Office. And we can apply applications of technology not only within artificial intelligence, but high performance computing, quantum computing, and offer these services to various industry sectors, whether it be consulting straight through to application and proof of concept. Now, if it be where applying workshops, we can run those, whether that be online currently right now, short to long day courses are available, straight through to group or one-to-one sessions. If there is any interest, feel free to drop me an email. I'll be happy to take any form of questions after this session.